Hey everyone, Alex, the real estate dude here with another episode of Working Alaska, where we're building context around all of the business owners, teachers, public figures in Alaska, specifically the Mat-Su Valley. Today it's a beautiful summer day, so we're sitting outside, so I hope you don't mind. And we're sitting with Brady Dale. He is the owner of Fearless Fitness.
What's going on?
Personal trainer, wellness coach, group fitness coach, future owner of a gym. Lots of things, right? We'll get into all of it. So if you watch the whole video, please comment with a timestamp of your favorite part, so that way I can make sure other people hear what really impacted you. Ready to get into it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we're gonna start with where you are from, like from the very beginning, like not just like where were you raised, but where were you actually born?
I am Alaska born and raised.
And Alaskan at heart.
In the Mat-Su Valley,
okay.
In Palmer. I was actually born in the Palmer Hospital when it was still the Palmer Hospital.
I don't even know where that is.
So, so Palmer Hospital is what is now the courthouse in the DMV.
Oh,
so that used to be
that feels like
the
a hospital
before
that
Mat-Su Original was up.
Yeah. So you remember this place when it was like itty bitty.
I guess so. Well,
like,
not that itty bitty, but
compared to where it is now, though.
Yeah,
now it's
absolutely.
Like
oh man, community. I remember still when the first roundabout went in. That was like a big deal.
Now you go down
and
Bogart
now they're
and
everywhere.
You hit 6 of
right,
them.
So now they're everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, Alaska born and raised. I've lived in the valley my entire life.
Okay.
I can't imagine living anywhere else.
So you lived in the valley, or lived specifically in Palmer, or did you do like a
Palmer, Wasilla? Yeah.
Okay.
So I've lived, between those two areas.
Okay.
My whole life.
Okay. And then so growing up, was it in Palmer or Wasilla, or did you move back and forth there?
So let's see. It was out in Wasilla over by Wonderland Park.
Okay.
Is where I was until, I think I was maybe 6 when we moved.
Okay.
And then me and my mom and my brother had moved with my stepdad as well, into a house over by the mattress ranch.
Okay.
And that's where they still live today.
Okay.
So I grew up kind of right in the middle.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right in that,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not really in Palmer or Wasilla. We're in this weird little section.
I think technically it was Palmer. It's technically what the our zip code was, but yeah.
But your
right
neighbor
there.
to the left was Wasilla.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So growing up, what did your parents do, or what did your mom do?
My mom has been I never know exactly how to describe her role, but she worked for Mat-Su Services for Children and Adults for a really long time. Okay. Doing that, after quite some time there, she started working for the state, doing the same type of thing, coordinating her employees to help and take those with special needs out on daily activities. She also represents them, so she does a lot of stuff like that. And then my stepdad was a correctional officer for years and retired and recently, and is now working up on the slope. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, just so you know, the reason why I always ask that question is because I like to build, like, were your parents super entrepreneurial? Were they like taking care of people? Because really that's where your structure comes from, right?
Right.
You're an entrepreneur now, but how did you get to that entrepreneur? Normally you see it in like what your parents did. Like, were they super salesy? Were they like what kind of?
I think we'll get into that. I think we'll definitely touch that point.
Yeah.
At some point today.
At the very least, your mom has helped people, right? Because they're special needs, and that's what you're doing now.
Sure. So. Yeah. There's always a little bit of a connection there, I think. But we'll definitely be able to touch on that today.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So getting into it, was there anything like significant before high school that like really you think affected where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me give you the full details here. Okay. So, like I said, Alaska born and raised, grew up in Alaska, grew up here in the valley. I went to Colony High School. Okay. Colony Middle School as well, so attended Colony through.
So that was a big change, right, from middle school to high school.
Yeah, right next
10
door.
Feet.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It was. It's a big difference, though. Yeah. I think when we look back, but yeah. So I attended the Colony schools, but I grew up being overweight my whole life. Okay. Yeah. So I was a big kid. I was, I was always tall, so I was always, the tallest kid in the class for the most part up until about, 8th grade, Okay. And then I kind of hit my final growth spurt, and I've been 6'2" since my freshman year of high school.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I was always tall, so I hit my growth spurt real fast and then kind of stopped, and I've been there for quite some time.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm still working towards my growth spurt.
Working there. It was a little bit taller. But yeah, so I was always kind of a big kid. I did play sports, albeit not very well back when I was in high school. But I basically I played basketball was my biggest thing. My freshman sophomore year, rode the bench C team and rode the bench JV. It wasn't very good, right?
So you were out there getting it.
I was trying. And so basically I didn't make the team my junior year. It was like, what's after sophomore year? My junior year didn't make the team, and so stopped going to practices, stopped doing conditioning, and that was really when I started to see a big impact on my health. I just stopped going.
Because of the lack of physical activity, or did your diet suffer too, or?
I mean, I always ate bad. So even during basketball practice, even during conditioning and stuff, I'd always lose weight in the winter because that's when basketball season was. Right. And then once basketball season stopped, I quit. And he's all tied up. See, sometimes he's smart, looking at the dog, but then other times he does dumb stuff like this. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Maybe he'll figure it out. I'll rescue him in a little bit.
Just show him.
But basically, ended up just gaining a ton of weight after I didn't make the team. My senior year of high school, and this was kind of like the eye opener for me. Was I took my yearly physical right around November, December, and I went in. I weighed 295 pounds, and that was like the first time. I'd never weighed that much before in my life, and it was really an eye-opener, saying, holy crap, I'm almost 300 pounds, and I'm 17 years old. Yeah,
and at 6'2", like, you expect to weigh more, but 295 pounds really at any height is... It's not a healthy spot. So, I mean, it's not like I was still active, I participated in weight training, I took gym class, but it's still, plethora of issues, docs were telling me I had blood pressure issues and cholesterol issues, at 17 years old, and I was like, oh my God. But along with that, being a big kid, especially going through school and stuff, is never easy. So lots of bullying, lots of confidence issues, self-confidence issues growing up as a kid. Didn't bode very well, and I actually went through a very, very serious depression stage my senior year of high school, and was actually suicidal. And so that was tough for me, and that was something that I kept a secret for a very, very long time in my life. Nobody knew. I didn't tell anybody. They always had all the tests and everything in school every year, and I totally lied my way through it all. Yeah, those questions on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
Right.
Real easy to break through those.
Yeah. So it was that was a tough thing for me my senior year of high school, and basically just had hit a point where I put it this way, is when I was at my lowest point, I had to come to this realization that I was blaming everyone but myself for all my problems. Right. I was blaming my home life. I was blaming all of my problems with other people, be it family or people at school. I was blaming all of the things that they were saying, and not taking any responsibility for what I was doing as a person. Which is not easy to do at 17 years old. A lot of I'm very grateful that I had that ability to do that. And I just I just say hope. It was just this idea that I had hope for my life, hope that my life could be better. And I mean, it really was like a split-second decision. It was like flicking off a light switch, and
like
being
not anymore.
And it would be like, I gotta stop blaming people for my issues. I gotta stop, worrying about what other people are saying about me or doing to me, or these people that don't matter. Giving time and energy to people in my life that aren't important, and start, taking my life back.
And you started that at 17.
This was Christmas break during my senior year of high school.
Okay. Well, yeah, you said it was like a light switch, so I'm sure you remember the date, time,
December 16th, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
So, I think that's super important there, is because at that age, especially still being in high school, you're at a tipping point where you have all the control, and you still have no control. Because normally people at that age, they don't have a lot of the income. Like, they're not self-sufficient yet. but mentally you're at a point where society says like you can be out and be self-sufficient, have your own job and stuff like that,
right.
But you're still living with your parents, so I can see how it'd be like a real easy to drop into some kind of state like that.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, I'll tell you, it was one of the hardest things I think I've ever done in my entire life. Again, I was only 17, but you know, I still think about that period of time. Really taught me a lot about life. It by no means was the end of, you know, hard times. It never is, right? But for me, it was a huge life lesson, and here's why. And it was like I said, it was about finally taking responsibility for my actions and what I was doing and starting to take back my life, and not letting those people around me dictate that. So even though I was living at home, and even though I was, you know, really just in a tight spot around, you know, between the people that I was around, you know, I still had that ability to make my decision. I had a car, right? Which, you know, the conditions were I had to pay for my own gas and have a job.
Okay.
And so so my first job, and this is not counting working, you know, I cut grass with my grandfather when I was 13.
Okay.
Right? So my first real job was I worked at Subway, and it lasted a whole 4 weeks.
Oh, I was gonna say sandwich artist.
No, worst job of my life.
I was at Subway
Lord.
too.
Oh, that was so bad. I hated it. I hated it. And I was only working like 6 hours a week, 8 hours a week. They'd call me in, you know, and I'd get there for 2 hours and say, oh, we're overstaffed today because nobody's coming. They send you home. So it's like, man, I was only paying for my gas money to get to work and back.
That's it. Yeah. Yep.
It was rough. It was real rough. So I quit that kind of in the process of this and said, okay, I need to be working more. I was only going to school half time.
Okay.
As a senior, I did 4 classes first semester, 4 classes second semester.
Okay.
So I got done with school at like 11:30, I think.
So you had the whole day.
So I had the whole day,
yeah.
right? And 2 of my classes were weight training and a teacher's assistant, you know? So it's like it wasn't hard, you know? I could have graduated early and everything, but it wasn't tough.
Yeah.
But basically, what had happened was from December 16th until I graduated, I got a job at Safeway.
Okay.
Working probably 30 to 40 hours a week. It just kind of depended on that schedule, but at least 30 hours a week while going to school. My family had been members of the Sports Center. What was formerly AT&T is now the MTA Sports Center for years. And we live right down the street, right? Mattress Ranch to there. I mean, what's that, like 3-4 miles? It's not that far at all. So my life from that point on was wake up at 5 a.m., go work out for about an hour and a half, get to school by 7, did my 4 classes, which included weight training, and then I worked usually like noon to 8 or 1 to 9 at Safeway pushing carts and carrying groceries.
Physical
Yeah,
stuff.
so I mean, I was just on my feet all the time, constantly moving, constantly doing stuff, you know, but that's not just the thing, is I gave up spending all my time in front of a computer, right? All the time sitting on my butt watching TV and playing games, and, you know, I stopped, you know, eating all the junk food. I mean, that was tough, especially living in, you know, at that point, let's see, there was still my parents and my brother. And I mean, I remember coming home from work with my salad bar salad, and there's like Kentucky Fried Chicken and pizza on the table.
And there's pizza in the oven.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
like,
not looking at it, and it's like sucking it up and eating my salads. And I still remember, you know, going, you know, even going to Safeway, which there's not really great options there. You know, I got to a point where I couldn't afford to buy my food there anymore. It was getting to be too much. And so I was wrapping turkey burgers in lettuce and like wrapping it in paper towels in the fridge for my lunch for the day. And I mean, I was going
committed.
I was committed, and it's and I was so committed to the point where I didn't even care that the food didn't even taste very good. I mean, I was so desperate for a change that it was like nasty, unseasoned raw burger wrapped in lettuce. Like I didn't
just like,
or not raw burger, but just unseasoned. You know, just pulled it out of the oven, and I didn't care.
I think what's important, and what I was thinking about when you first told me about that time, December 16th, was nothing changed other than your perspective. Like the junk food was still there, the couch was still there, and the video game or computer or whatever that was still there. That like all the opportunity didn't change.
Right.
You just changed your perspective and how you looked at it, and you started saying, no, I'm not going to eat that food. Yes, I'm going to start waking up early. Like, no, I'm not going to work at Subway. I'm going to do this physical activity.
Right.
And you literally changed your whole life while literally nothing was changing around you. Like, it was just a 1 second, like, not anymore. Like, I'm done. And that's the only thing that changed.
And that really is the most important. Now, and there's so much that I can teach from that, especially now, looking back, is I had a lot of benefits. One, I was 17 years old. I didn't have a family. I didn't have kids. I didn't have, a wife or whatever. I didn't have anything about that.
And you weren't really being mentally stimulated because you were not doing too much at school. Like, you had 1 or 2 classes and that's it. And like, you had so much time during the day, so you had a lot of time to work through anything you needed to. After you made the decision.
And that was that point. And literally my focus was nothing but I have to get healthy. That was my objective. It was that I know I'm a senior. I didn't know what I wanted to do at that point, but my focus had to be, I need to take care of me. I need to take care of my body. I need to be happy. I need to be confident. I need to just change me. Right. And I try and teach people that is like, and I try and talk to kids about this too. Is like, you have to take care of you first. Right. And that's what I try and tell everybody. No matter the situation that you're in. Even if you're a wife or a husband or a mother or a father, like, it's your responsibility, yes, to give and take care of people. The problem is, if you're not taking care of yourself, you lose that ability to do that. You lose that ability, that happiness to take care of the things you need to take care of, and then you're not doing the job that you need to be doing. And so my message to everybody in that situation who's always struggling with that kind of push-pull of do I take care of them or do I take care of me? I'm always pushing, you got to take care of you. If you take care of you, you will do a better job taking care of everyone else in your life.
Man, I want to scream because I've been focused on this so much recently. And really, it's just a focus around happiness. And first of all, just to bank off what you were going off of, I just had a talk with my girlfriend the other day. Like, if you have to be able to make yourself happy. If not, you're not going to be able to make anyone happy. And I mainly on the podcast, I focus on like business and work and stuff like that. Even in that aspect though, and I go off of what Gary Vee says all the time, of if you are doing what you love, you're going to spend 1,000,000 more times doing it, and you're going to be happy doing it, and so you're going to be better at it. Right? So even if it's a decision that you have to make that not everyone agrees with or anything like that, like if it's for you, it's going to make you happier, it's going to make you a better person, and then you're going to be happy with this thing that you're doing 8 hours a day. So now it's going to benefit you in all the other aspects of your life. You know what I mean? So you started going to the gym December 16th, right? Like, you started getting back into it.
So when you say getting back into it, that was the day that I started going every single day for the rest of my life. We're talking, it didn't matter how sore I was, how tired I was, how bad I was feeling, unless I was deathly ill, dying in bed. I was up at 5. I was up and I was at that gym the second they opened. The second those doors opened, I was there. And it didn't matter. Like, when I say cold turkey, I mean cold turkey. I mean everything.
That second you were like, tomorrow morning I'll be there.
And here's the thing, and this is just again another big lesson. As I look back at that now, and it's not. Here's the thing about that, and a lot of people kind of get this idea that if I want to be healthy, I have to give up everything else and completely focus on my health, and that's not true. Yes, that's what I did, but I was 17 and I had the ability to do that. Right. And now looking back again, so I gave up playing video games. I gave up really watching a lot of TV. Maybe a show a night. Maybe I get home 10 o'clock. I'd throw an episode of something on. I don't know, whatever, and then I'd be in bed. Right. I gave up eating junk food. Dude, seriously. I am a cookie freak. I'm a sweet tooth freak, and I loved it. I still love it. But man, I'm talking cold turkey. Like, gave it up. But now, man, I still get to enjoy playing games when I want to. Okay, you have to find that balance in your life of when do I play games and enjoy some me time and some downtime and have fun.
That escapism is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. When do I have those treats? If I really like these things, do I have to give them up forever? And the answer is no. But here's what I think is really important for people to understand is sometimes when you hit rock bottom, when you hit your lowest point, whether it's for your health or your emotional health or whatever it is. I think there's a period of time where you have to go all in, all right? You have to go all in. And yes, there is a period of time where you need to really look at giving stuff up and getting rid of things. You know, one thing that I hear, and I learned this from one of the nutrition coaches I work with, Winona Benson. I don't know if you know her or not, but she's a fantastic lady. But she said it, she's put it this way. She says, people come up all the time and they say, well, if I just have this one cookie, it won't hurt me, right? But the way she described it was, the problem is you're already hurt, right? You're already at a point where it's been, you know, whatever stage your life in, it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 years of you already being hurt. So yes, having that one thing, it just prolongs what you're going through. It's like there has to be a complete detox, flush, and I'm not talking about just like an actual detox. I mean detoxing of negative, bad, everything that's going into your gut, your mind, your soul, everything. Where there's got to be a period where you get rid of that jargon, right? And once you hit that point, because again, I hit that point, now I'm where I want to be. Now I'm the healthiest point in my life. Now I have flexibility with my life. Now I can create balance in my life of the things I love and, you know, the things that I know that I need to do. Okay? And now that I've done that, and now that I've changed that within myself, mentally, physically, emotionally, you know, now I enjoy being healthy. Now I'm at a point where it's like, if I'm not being healthy, I'm miserable. Whereas before, it was the other way around.
It was the standard.
It was kind of the other way around. It was like, okay, if I don't, my mind, my broken mind was telling me if I didn't eat this junk food and I didn't, you know, sit on my butt and do these things, that I was going to be miserable, right? It's that poor mentality that I had. But now that I fixed that, it's the exact opposite. It's saying, okay, if I do these bad things, if I eat these bad things, if I spend too much time on the couch, too much time doing this, I'm going to be miserable. And not just do I tell myself, because, you know, I'm human and I still do those things sometimes. Sometimes I have a Sunday where it's like I ate too much and I was bad and I spent too much time on the couch. And tell you what, the next day, my body knows. It's like, man, you screwed yourself this yesterday and you need to go fix something. You need to go get better. And so it's really hitting that point, and that point takes years. That point takes years to figure out. But you do hit that point once you've really changed, that you can kind of
do the full reevaluation.
Exactly.
The whole time you were telling me about that story, I was taking it. I work, like, my mind is super in like a business aspect, and I was thinking of the people that like make $200,000 a year and are still broke. You know what I mean? Like, I can spend this $100 is the same thing as, can I have this one cookie? Compared to someone who's making $80,000 and has all the money in the world, right? They can do whatever they want because they have that freedom, because they've changed that perspective on money or that perspective on food, who's someone who's actually healthy now.
It's that self-discipline.
And a lot of people for money is the same way as health. If you get it from your parents of, man, I'm fine, it's gonna take like a, wow, I'm broke and I'm sick of being broke. You know what I mean? They got him eating the leaves, wrapping around the tree.
It just keeps going in circles. This time I might have to actually see if he's got like 4 loops over there. But yeah, man, no, you're absolutely right.
So you started working out cold turkey December 16th. How, two-part question. 1, how did that affect your mental health? And 2, how long did it take for you to realize it was affecting your mental health?
You know, I don't know that I really, it did affect my mental health. I don't know exactly how long it took.
So there wasn't like a moment where you're like, man, I feel better.
I was just, you know, man, it's been seven years now, really longer, I guess, since that happened. And so a lot of that stuff's still fuzzy for me. I know I hit a point where I felt so much better about myself. Here was the base thing. So I'll give you the change that happened was, the first 3 months I lost 30 pounds.
Okay. 10 pounds a month is crazy.
Yeah, a lot. It was a lot. And so I would say it was right around February, March, before my birthday. My birthday's in April. I started to notice I had more energy, right? Everything was getting easier, and people were looking at me differently, right? And that was really cool. And then by the time graduation had rolled around, I think I was down probably about 50, 55 pounds.
Damn.
I mean, I was consistently losing a good 10 pounds a month.
Yeah.
From changing everything, and again, that's drastic, and in no way do I expect that from anyone. Again, I was 17 years old, still, you know, had the ability to be kind of in the prime of my life to have that kind of ability. In no way would I be able to do that now, or do I tell people that they should be doing that. But at 17 years old, yeah, it's more doable.
Yeah.
But that was pretty crazy.
So there wasn't really like there was times where you noticed like how you're feeling and how you're doing, but there wasn't really like one night where you were laying in bed or like sitting or hanging out or on a run or certain things where you were like, man, like my life is completely different now.
Not until after graduation.
Okay.
I think that was really the big point. So here's the thing: is I was 295 by the time October 2012 rolled around. I was 185. So I'm talking 10 months. I lost over 100 pounds.
Holy crap!
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I was skinny. I mean, and I was that was actually bad. Like I had actually lost too much weight.
You said you were what, 185?
185. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had actually lost too much weight.
Yeah,
I became a little obsessed. You know, I was so concerned. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna save him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh. Okay. We gotta show the people. Look at him. Look at the pup wrapped around the tree. It's a podcast and a dog show. That's what we got here. He's doing the slalom.
Man, oh man. Come here.
Oh, we got to get the treats too. Here we go.
He's crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay, so you became obsessed.
Yeah, I became a little obsessed, and I actually lost too much weight. I wasn't eating enough. I was so concerned that I wasn't eating enough. I was working out way too much, and really had to get my life together on a new aspect. And now I'm sitting here looking at like, okay, I need to gain like 20 good pounds back.
That is a crazy, just that mental roller coaster you went through of like, I need to lose weight, I need to be obsessed. Oh crap, I'm too obsessed. Now I have to gain weight.
Yeah.
In a year span.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was a long year for sure.
Yeah.
But I do remember. So there are a couple things I remember about that really kind of had an impact on me. That kind of made me happy. Was you know, I was the super antisocial guy. Okay. Super antisocial.
Yeah,
So especially people look at me now. They don't think that a lot. But I was big time loner. Okay. Didn't like to talk to people. I didn't go to events. I didn't go to homecoming dances or prom or anything like that. Okay. One, I didn't have a date. And two, I said if I don't have a date, I don't want to go. You know, I didn't enjoy it. You know, I used to go in middle school and I was so miserable the whole time that I was like, why am I doing this? So I just didn't go. So I didn't go to those kind of things.
My question is why? Was it a confidence issue or is it like a personality issue?
I think a little bit of both. A little bit. I'm still the kind of guy that I'm not a big party guy. You know, I don't drink, so I don't go to bars. I don't go to parties. I never really went to parties. You know, I'll go hang out with some friends every now and then. We'll go out. I'll go hang out with some friends. We'll grill. We'll play some games outside. But like big parties, club type stuff, that's not me. No, not me at all. Okay. Especially now, that's not what I like to do. It's not healthy for me. All sorts of stuff. But back then it was definitely a confidence issue. Okay. For sure. Okay. Going through school.
So how much do you enjoy working one-on-one or doing the group fitness coaching?
Oh, I love it. Oh man, you know, so teaching a class of 30 people is way different than going to a party of 30 people. You know, so it's totally different.
In my head, that makes me realize, like, no, your personality actually is extroverted. Like, you do love the people. You just don't love to do the typical social things that society says, like, let's go to the bar and stuff like that.
I'm very...
But you still, like, you love people. Like, you're still passionate about being in front of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then...
It's funny you say that, because actually one of my biggest goals is to present and share at Idea World, which I'll be at here in a couple days. Okay. Which is, it's growing every year, but it's about 10,000 personal trainers and fitness people in the industry. It's my goal to speak in front of all of them. Okay. Which is really cool.
Awesome.
And the biggest crowd I got to, I think there was about 200 when I participated in a speech contest actually for Toastmasters. Okay. Last year. Not February this year, February last year. Went down to Washington and got to speak in front of 200 people, and that was a little nerve-wracking for sure, but it was very, very cool.
How did you feel afterwards, though? Like, did
Good.
you love it? Did you feel energized, or were you
great.
like, oh,
it felt great. It felt great, and
yeah,
the response was great.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah.
A really short story there was actually, so with speech contests, we have a time limit. So your speech range is 5 to 7 minutes. You can go 30 seconds under or 30 seconds over to be within that time limit. So my max time limit was 7 minutes 30 seconds, and I spoke for 7 minutes and 33 seconds, and so I was disqualified.
Oh man. And it was still worth it.
Still worth it.
Oh,
like, absolutely.
Like disqualified
totally
from the competition, but everything else that you got from it.
The response was great.
The
response I received from people afterwards, everyone was coming up asking me and just telling me what a great job it was, how much they loved it, you know, and it was really, really cool. Really, really cool.
Okay.
So totally worth it.
Yeah. So the loner in high school was definitely not a personality type, like I just like to be by myself. It was like a confidence issue,
totally
kind of thing, and I feel like that's going to translate here soon into being an entrepreneur. But before we get into that, so you graduate high school, you're 100 pounds less, you're super obsessed with working out, now you have to gain weight. At what point did you realize, or did you think about, like, man, I really love this, I want to start helping other people with this, let's quit working grocery store and start working?
It was actually before all that. It was actually before I even graduated high school. I told you I was at the sports center, so I was actually so I was working out there, and what was really cool, and this was one of the things that I mentioned earlier, was that I didn't get to, but all of the employees had noticed how much weight I was losing, and that was very, very comforting and inspirational. Not just employees, but members. So I actually had multiple members over there that came up to me randomly, probably around March, April, who were like, hey, I noticed that you've lost like all this weight. How much weight have you lost? How did you do it? So they were asking me all these questions, you know, kind of like, what's your motivation, all of that stuff. And so I just had these great conversations, and I inspired some people, and that was really, really cool. To get to do that.
Absolutely.
And so I went downstairs and I talked to Jenny Hoagland, who was the fitness director at the time, and said, hey, how what does it take to become a personal trainer? Because my thought was, hey, this would be kind of cool. Like, I could work at a gym forever and always be in shape and always be healthy, and then help people and help people work out. So, you know, at 17, that was my mentality at the time, was just staying healthy and helping people get healthy. That was just as simple as that. Right. And she was like, Brady, I'm so glad you asked me, because I thought this would be a great field for you to be in. Right. And so that was really, really cool. So that was probably about April, right before graduation. And she was like, well, here's the thing. It's like, we have a proctor coming up in October. If you want to sign up for it, this is the cost. We'll get you your books. You study, you take the test, you're good to go. And that was it. Yeah. So before I even graduated, I was already like roaring, ready to go. I was like, okay, I gotta get through this book. I gotta start taking all the practice tests and the quizzes and doing everything. And sure enough, it came around. We did our 3-day thing, and I think I got like a 96%. I mean, I was like, I was ready.
That's, man, you keep saying that date to me, and it's messing my head up, because we're still, the day you took that test was less than 12 months. Down 100 pounds. Like, personal training, like literally your whole life.
In 10 months.
In 10 months. Completely and drastically changed. And you became obsessed. To the point where it was like, oh crap, like, let me pump the brakes a little bit. We got to do some changes here. That's crazy. That's crazy. It was pretty nuts. So I mean, this will be, it'll be, so October 26th, I think, will be 7 years since I got my first certification. Okay. So, did you work at MTA Sports Center for 6 months and then be like, man, I'm going to start my own thing?
It was
about what did that process look like?
So stuff on me. I was at the Sports Center for about, November, December, January, about 3 months. Okay. I had one client in the 3 months, and I taught some kids classes, right? At the time, they just weren't a personal training type of business, right? They're more catered towards the group fitness, group events, basketball, sports, stuff like that, you know? And so Jenny had actually recommended, she's like, hey, I know you're really wanting to do training. We don't really do that right now. We don't have that client base. You should head over to Body Renew. So that's where I went. So February 7th, I think, was officially my first day. I started working in Body Renew, and I worked at Body Renew as a personal trainer for 5.5 years. So I was there for a very, very large portion of my life. And
then, so working at Body Renew, was there Was there a nugget inside your head that was like, man, I really want to do my own thing and start my own business and start get my own gym? Or was it something that was like, man, here's an opportunity, I'm going to jump on it right away?
Yeah, so not for a very long time. You know, I mean, so I started there, I was 18,
okay.
You know, when I started there. So I still, the idea of entrepreneurship and owning my own gym, you know, I mean, I had just stepped into the fitness world. I had only had one client. I hadn't even really started yet. You know, I hadn't even broken the barrier. I was still hanging out on the outside, you know. But it was just great getting to have the opportunity to start working with people, you know. And man, it's still crazy to think about it because I moved out when I was 18, real quick. And that's a whole other complicated thing we won't get into.
Okay.
But I moved out when I was 18, went through just some personal stuff that, again, we won't get into. But basically, I remember I was at a point where I was living on my own. My monthly rent was like $980 a month. I had this big place all to myself, and I was making just enough to pay my bills and eat nothing but eggs and ramen all the time.
Okay.
Like, it was, I remember that was rough.
Yeah.
That was real rough.
Yeah.
And so that was hard. You know, I mean, 19 years old at the time, and just trying to deal with that. That was hard.
Survive.
Yeah, I mean, I had all this space. I mean, literally, you'd open up all my cupboards, and it was empty. Like, you'd see a big thing of ramen. I had eggs in the fridge, and that was about it.
That's all I need.
Yeah. And that was pretty crazy as well.
And so that was at 18?
I was like 19, yeah.
And then did you start making more money, or did you?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, so I got on this thing where it was, you know, so when I went and started, I thought I was a hot shot. You know, I thought I was this hot shot personal trainer because it's like, oh man, I lost
100 pounds.
I'm like, yeah, I lost over 100 pounds. You know, I did all this stuff, and people are asking me. So I thought I was a hot shot, and I learned really quick that I was not. That I was way over my head. I still needed something. I still needed to figure it out. You know, and I quickly learned that my way of doing things was not the way for everyone to do things. And that was where I had a real eye-opener. So I'm very thankful for that ability. And so I went on this self-education journey. I hit another point where I wanted to be better, you know, because I had realized that I wasn't the best, but I wanted to be the best. And I needed to start doing whatever it took to be the best. So that's when I started following, you know, personal trainers and big names in fitness, and you know, started to learn all this stuff. And it was like, hey, how can I further my education? And so that was really, really cool.
Remind me, you might have said it, but I missed it. When did you like actually have that? Like, what age were you? Just general ballpark. What age were you when you were like, man, I'm not?
I had just turned 19. Yeah. So I started at Body Renew in February 7th. I was 18. My birthday's April 12th.
Okay.
So I was 19. Really, I was only there for a couple months before I turned 19.
So I asked that because the fact that you had the intelligence, the emotional intelligence, or whatever you want to call it, to realize like the way I did it isn't the way that everyone wants to do it. Right. And so I need to like eat a slice of humble pie and actually get in it and figure it out.
Suck it up. Practice a little humility. Totally.
I'm super impressed with that, because at 19 most people are so like, you're in yourself, right? You're on your own, you're doing your own thing, you're feeling yourself, you got the hormones going, you're like I'm it, like I'm man, I'm going. So the fact that you had the intelligence to take a step back and be like, whoa, like it's not just me, like I gotta figure this out for other people, I'm not actually a hot shot.
Right. Totally. And
that's awesome.
You know, that kind of, and that stuck with me a lot, and it was that, and then listening to other trainers and big name trainers, as well as some of my peers as well. You know, again, you know, some trainers who had been doing it for as longer than I had, and listening to some of them and figuring that stuff out was a huge help. And I still use that to this day. You know, because even, don't get me wrong, I think I'm a great trainer. You know, I definitely have high expectations for myself, high standards for myself. And I've put a lot of effort into my education, but by no means do I think I'm the best. And my mentality is, I know I'm never going to be the best. I know that my best version of myself will always be a year ahead of me, right? And so it's always knowing, or you know, there's people that have still been doing this longer than me that are just as dedicated as me, that will be knowing more than I do, and I have to continue to learn from them and keep up on that pace.
Right.
And so my thought is just, and I encourage to have everyone think this way, is you have to forever be a student of life. In whatever field that you're in, because whatever field you're in, it's always changing, it's always evolving, especially in the fitness industry, especially in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
There's always the new thing, the new fad, the new information that we dig up. I mean, there's so many things that are always changing.
With technology, you can count on everything changing all the time.
Exactly.
Because the rate at which we're learning things, especially with technology, no matter what industry, like you said, it's going to change 100% of the time. Get comfortable in that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
The most important thing, though, that I think you said in there is you don't think you're the best, but you're also super confident in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a good balance that you have there of, like, yes, I'm not the best, but I'm damn good at what I'm doing. Like, I am dedicated, and I can help anybody that wants my service.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know, and that's a good point you bring up, because here's the thing too, is it's not often anymore that I run into someone that I don't believe I can help, but if I can't help them, I will find someone that can.
Right.
You know, and it's very rare that I put myself in that position, or at the very least, I'm like, okay, I can help you with half of your things. What I'll do is I'm going to reach out to this person and figure out how to help you with the rest of them.
Right.
You know, but I have no problems sending someone that I can't help to somebody else.
Right.
You know, if I'm getting into that kind of a relationship with somebody, you know, because, you know, building that relationship with my clients is the most important part, and making sure that we can trust each other. If I don't trust myself, how can they trust me?
Right.
You know, and so I have no issues sending them off to if I can't help them.
Right.
Absolutely. It's about helping them. It's not about me making a buck off of them. It's not about me, you know, getting them committed to contracts and stuff. It's about taking care of them.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. That's something that not a lot of people do. So that's something to highly commend as well. You know what I mean? Having the emotional intelligence is realizing, like, I can't help anyone, and then being humble enough to say, listen, I can't help you, but I am going to help you in this way. You know what I mean? I'm going to pass you off because there's someone else that can serve you better. So I'm going to take myself out of it and push that through.
Totally.
Okay, so let's run through real quick, because I think we're starting to get a little... Oh, we still got 20 minutes. We're good on the SD card. But, so, you're at Body Renew 5.5 years. How did Fearless Fitness start? Was that... Were people requesting it? What was the...
So, some people came into my life while I was still working in Body Renew that saw a great deal of potential in me. So people came into my life. They were from California. They had owned and operated a group fitness business. Okay. Well, really more just a fitness business in general in San Diego for 30 years, almost. Okay. I think almost 30 years, not quite. But very successfully, and they managed a whole bunch of stuff, and they were in the fitness industry. And they saw potential in me and what I was doing, and introduced me to a guy down in California named Todd Durkin. And Todd Durkin is one of those kind of celebrity personal trainers. He's Drew Brees' personal trainer.
Okay, yeah.
He trains Drew Brees.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. His first big name client was LaDainian Tomlinson. Was his first big client.
The man, I love that.
So
dude.
he trained. Yeah. So currently he trains out of San Diego. He trains Drew Brees, Zach Ertz, Darren Sproles, Gerald McCoy. So a lot of big name athletes.
That's crazy.
Right?
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So he's a celebrity trainer, but so he has his gym in California, and he also does coaching for trainers. So he started his mastermind program, his mentorship program. We just had our 10-year anniversary as a group. Okay. So a while back, and so I was introduced to him, and he changed my life.
That's a big deal.
He's the most inspiring name. So went down to Idea World. So this is my 2 years ago. Okay. Last year before, 2 years ago, I believe is when I met him. Down at Idea World, and attended it. This was the year he won the Jack LaLanne Award. You know who Jack LaLanne is, right? So Jack LaLanne is jumping jacks. Like jumping jacks were named after him. He's biggest name in industry. He wore the red jumpsuit. He's the one that swam through. Where's Alcatraz at?
Yeah, San Francisco Bay.
Yeah, San Francisco Bay.
Yeah.
With pulling the boat with the anchor, hooking his mouth or whatever,
Yeah,
all the crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he's like, one of the big names. So he won the Jack Lane Award that year and gave his presentation and gave his motivational speech on life and business and philosophy. And the man changed my life. Okay. And he inspired me to want to share my story, because that was his whole thing. Is like, one of his big things now is you got to live a life worth telling a story about, and you got to share your story. Yeah. And what is your story? Yeah. And so he inspired me to share, and that's what got me into speaking. Because part of what I also do is I want to be a motivational speaker, a professional speaker. Okay. And so he ignited that. Mm-hmm. So I started my first business as soon as I got back from that. Okay. Like literally, like bam. Yeah. And
I like
it was
your
called.
Style, the way it's like,
I'm ready to go
now. Here we go.
Exactly. So that was called No More Fear, and I started that business just as a way to speak. To get into schools, to hold speaking events, and I didn't make a whole lot of money off of it. Okay. Yeah. So it wasn't really anything huge. So it was a way to speak and to do more coaching on a motivational standpoint, as opposed to just fitness and nutrition.
Spread your story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just another avenue of doing that. And then going back to idea the year after that, well, actually, sorry, back up. Before that even happened, I joined Todd's mentorship program almost immediately. Okay. Got hooked. Yep. So I've been a part of that for almost 2 years now. Where he's been coaching me, and I think there's 198 of us now across the world. Okay. Right. 198 personal trainers all over the world.
Which sounds like a lot, but that is.
It's really not.
It is.
It's really not. Yes. Yeah. So really, really cool coaching group though. Lots of great coaches. So I joined that program, and then have been working with him. Went back again. Took his mentorship, and after that, and after going through all of that, and starting to see. Because he's one of the best trainers in the world, right? Mm-hmm. One of the best trainers in the world. And I'm in a group of, again, 190 of some of the best gyms in the world. Yeah. Right? Best business owners, best studio owners. They're doing the best things. The way that they are running these fitness businesses, I learned how a gym should be, and realized we don't have that in Alaska. Okay. We don't have that standard of fitness in Alaska. And if you were to take any gym up here in Alaska, and you were to make them compete with any of the gyms down in California, lower 48, all of the gyms in Alaska would lose. All of them. Hands down.
Compete on a purely fitness level, like we can do the most push-ups, pull-ups.
No. I'm talking about from a business standpoint.
Oh,
I'm talking about go pit some of these local gyms or some of the Alaska gyms with some of the ones down in California. I mean, they would all lose.
And we're looking at numbers.
Everything. Right. We're looking no, not just numbers. We're looking at customer service. Oh, okay. We're looking at how you treat your employees, how you treat your clients, the level of service provided as far as cleanliness and cleanliness, service, integrity.
Got it.
Just everything.
Everything. Purely full scope business.
Full scale business and people and relationships. Everything.
Yeah.
Okay. There is nothing up here that could compete with anything like that down in the lower 48. Okay. We're so far behind, I think, that we don't stand a chance.
So you came back and you were like Fearless Fitness.
Right. So that's kind of how. So I came back after, and it kind of brewed for a little bit, and then I finally there was I won't share it for specific reasons, but there was a point, kind of where I was at. Being an employee, where I said I can't do this anymore. Okay. It's not where my current position is not living up to my standard of life and my standard of being a personal trainer and being a person. Okay. And I need to make a change. Yep. And the more I thought about it, I looked around at other places, looked around for other jobs, and realized that it was just going to be going one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and I was never going to be happy. And I knew that I had to do something for myself. Okay. I had to bring something like what Todd does to Alaska, and I need to start something like that because I think we desperately need it.
So you started Fearless Fitness then, not as what you're doing now, but as right now as a stepping stone to bringing that standard of what a gym should be to Alaska.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
So Yeah. So, and it's not really so much a gym as it is a community.
Okay.
Right. So when I think of what I want Fearless Fitness to be in a year, I want us to be not just the best personal training studio in Alaska, but I want us to be the best resource for people in Alaska to come and get healthy. Okay, to change their life, to change not just their exercise and diet habits, but their mental health, their emotional health.
Yeah.
I mean, to where, especially people in the Mat-Su Valley, because I'm not going to Anchorage, I'm staying out here.
Okay.
Right. Mat-Su for life, right?
That's Palmer. That's what you said.
Mat-Su for life, right?
Can't imagine living anywhere else, right?
But that's what it's all about, and it's about letting people know and wanting to get to a point where it's like, if someone says, hey, I really want to change my life, I really want to be healthy, I really want to be happy, I want to take back my life, everyone in the Mat-Su Valley is saying, go see Brady, go see Fearless Fitness.
There's only one place to go.
Right.
When that question's asked, you want Fearless Fitness to be the no.
I want it. That's what I want it to be like.
Okay. Okay. So when did you actually start? Like when Fearless Fitness is a thing, I got my name, my brand, my first customer.
September 1st, 2018.
Okay.
So we're coming up on a year.
Yeah. And how are you doing so far? Are you killing
growing.
I'm
growing
fast, is it? And it's just you, right?
It's just
for
me.
Now?
It is me, myself, and I, just for now. Yep.
Okay.
So we're in the survival stages, right? I mean, the bills are getting paid, people's lives are changing, things are getting done.
Yep.
So it's working, right? It's growing. Things are looking good. I'm not losing money.
Okay.
I'm not. Some months are tougher than others, right? It's just as the course of being
small
a business owner.
Yep, absolutely.
But it's part of that idea that even though it's tough, I mean, this is just like it was 8 years ago. It's just a different situation. It's another difficult time in life, but again, I'm the kind of person that no matter what kind of difficulties or challenges show up my way, as long as I continue to focus on developing myself, being the best person I can be, doing the right thing, helping other people, taking care of people, everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
Right? There's being passionate, yes, is really important, but that's why I'm part of a mentorship program, is being smart, being business smart, making the right plans and decisions and all that stuff. I'm a big believer in passion, absolutely, but you got to have plans. You got to be smart about what you do. I've met a lot of, high schoolers especially. I've done some talks with some high schoolers and some kids who will all want to be business owners and want to do this. I'm like, that's great and all, and yes, you have passion, but how are you going to do it? Right. I'm like, being passionate is amazing, and you have to have that, yes, but you have to have more than that too. Right.
I, all the time on the show, I think every episode I've said, do whatever it takes to make you happy, I think is what you should be doing, specifically in a business aspect, right? And I never unbox that or put context behind it, like you just said, of the reason why I think you should do that is because then you'll be willing to spend more time doing it because it makes you happy, and then you can be smarter about it and put more hard work behind it. That's why happiness is so important, because you're going to have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of doing it. Like 9 to 5 is not your life anymore. You know what I mean? Now it's like 9 until you go to sleep because you're laying on the couch. Get out of here.
I know. They're coming for us.
It's starting to get crazy.
We're sweating. It's getting hot out here. We're like baking in the sun here.
This Alaska 75 degrees.
Yep, that's good.
It's getting me. Okay. So real quick, the goal behind Fearless Fitness then, like say 12 months, is you're looking at starting that gym up, or that
next
community
year, it's next year. It's going to happen.
Okay.
Say I have that vision for. I don't know if it'll be September 1st, our 2-year anniversary. It'll be sooner. It'll be November. But 2020 is the year.
Absolutely, the end state, though, is to have that place.
2020 is the year.
Resource. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so where are we at now? All right, we're good. So, like I said, I always end with 3 things.
Okay.
1, is there anything that we wanted to talk about that you didn't talk about? We covered a lot, but was there anything specific when I asked you to be on the show that you were like, man, this is really what I want to get out there and tell the people?
Man, and that's a tough question because
we could be here all day, right?
We could be here all day, right, man? I could talk about, philosophy, and I could talk about motivation and fitness for hours, man, hours, and there's not enough time right now. Yeah. We'll definitely have to do this again. I definitely see an episode 2 coming. This job, dude.
I would say an episode 2, and once we turn off this camera, I'm going to try and convince you to do exactly what I'm doing, but about health and fitness. But we'll get get into that off camera.
There's a lot of other stuff going in, but man, I don't know. Like I said, is there a question? Is there something that you really want to know? Is there something that you're really curious about?
Well, what I love to do, and the point of the podcast, is really to build context around you. So when someone goes and says, man, I want to get in shape, it's not, hey, I'm just going to Fearless Fitness. Like, hey, I'm going to meet Brady Dale. Like, he's the guy, I know his story, I know where he's been. Like, I have context around him and his business, and I like their morals and their principles and stuff like that, and that's another reason why I'm going for him. Okay. Right? And I want to do that for all the businesses, so I think we cover that pretty well.
Okay, so let me share this thing. So this is my goal for Fearless Fitness. Not just Fearless Fitness, but this is what Fearless Fitness is meant to do for every single person that comes in, whether it's seeing me right now or 5 years from now with another trainer who is part of Fearless Fitness or employee, is that every single person that comes in and works with me, it's our goal to make you move your best, feel your best, and live your best life. Those three things. Okay. When we talk about moving your best, feeling your best, that's the biggest thing when it comes to fitness. And here's why I say that. Is there are so many things out there in the fitness industry that work, and everyone's always asking me, well, what's the best way? What's the best way? What's the best way? And there is no best way. It's whatever works for you. Because 100%. Everyone is different. Everyone's body responds to different things, okay? There's a million diets out there. There's the keto diet, there's paleo, there's vegan, there's, what's the other kind of big one right now? I always forget.
Vegan?
Not vegan, yeah. There's so many
Atkins,
of them. There was the Atkins, which is, we don't do the Atkins anymore. We kind of threw that away a few years ago.
Okay.
That's kind of what keto is now, but there's all these different diets out there, and everyone's always asking, well, which one works best? I'm like, honestly, if you do the diet right, they all work, okay? But it depends on you. Everyone's body reacts differently to different things, okay? There's a lot of, genetics do play a big part in stuff like that. That's a really big important piece. I'm not saying that, just because, your family's overweight, you're going to be overweight, but it does play a bigger role than people do think,
right.
Not just that, but like, so for me, for example, is because I was big, because I was unhealthy for a long time, if I slip, if I start eating too much junk food, I gain it back way faster than someone who is really fit for their entire life, right? That's just how my body is. That's how my genetics are.
Right, that's how your body learns.
But I can't, but that's not a reason to be unhealthy. You just have to understand that that's just the way it is, right? You can't ask yourself, oh, well, why do some people, it's like when you take that one person who eats a bag of potato chips and they lose 5 pounds, and that person who eats a bag of potato chips and gain 10 pounds, you say, well, why? I say, we don't know. All right. Don't take that class. Right. It's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So the thing that I want people to understand is move your best, feel your best is, man, it's really about finding what works best for you. And so the clients that I see and the clients that come in and work with me, we do a lot. My focus as a trainer is functional training, corrective exercise, range of motion, flexibility, balance, coordination, all of that stuff. I don't typically train bodybuilders or like power lifters. I don't really train. I don't do CrossFit, right? Nothing against CrossFit, but I don't do CrossFit. Right. So I'm more looking at. I can get you ready for CrossFit. I can help you, because here's my thing with CrossFit is I think there are a lot of people that do CrossFit that maybe their body's not ready for it. Okay. I know that there are some CrossFit studios that do a really good job of teaching those beginning levels before you get into the really intense stuff, but there are even more studios that don't do that. Right. So I say people want to do CrossFit and you've never exercised before, come see me for a bit. I'm going to get you ready. Now you can go do CrossFit.
Right. Get your main range of motion.
So there's lots of other things that are important with that. So lots of flexibility, range of motion, posture, overall general health. And what's great about all of that, what's great about working on functional training, corrective exercise, et cetera, is weight loss is a component of all of that. Okay, weight loss and health is a component of all of that. It's just about moving. Okay, I want my clients to be able to, when they see me, I want them to have more energy. I want them to be able to go through life without pain. I want them to build more self-confidence. I want them to be happy, okay? And if what you want to do is be a bodybuilder, that's cool. Like, I mean, there are still things that I can help you with, but as far as, you know, getting you stage ready or something, that's not what I do.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But there, as far as general health and that kind of thing, I'm definitely your guy, and that's what I focus on. That's my foundation of everything that I do.
And I think a big core principle, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard about your business is you don't personal train at one specific gym. You're very flexible, and like you'll go to a park if someone's more comfortable going to a park, or you'll go to a gym, or you'll do that, won't you? You're kind of flexible.
Sort of.
Where?
So right now I don't own a gym. I'm a freelancer and independent contractor, so I can train anywhere as long as the place that I'm training at allows it. Okay. So I currently train at one gym location primarily. I'm there most of my time. I'd say 98% of the time.
Okay.
Because that's just one, what works for my budget, and location-wise, it works out great.
Okay.
But like right now during the summertime, we're doing classes outside in the park. We just had one yesterday at Wasilla Lake, and it's great. I think it's our 5th class we've done at the lake this year. And they've been tons of fun. People just love being outside. It also creates more space because the gym I'm at is a little small, so I only do one-on-one training or small group, which is max of 3 people. So if I wanted to get into bigger groups, like we had one class that I think had 8 people, I definitely couldn't do that at the gym. There's not enough space. But we got outside, got in the park, and got to have some fun with that. And I do train people. I will train people at people's homes as well, depending on the location of where they're at. You know, I don't go to Anchorage or Girdwood or Meadow Lakes. But the remedy to that situation is I just launched an online training platform for people that can't get to me personally and in person.
I think that's the perfect transition of, first of all, how do we figure out what, like when you're having those workout events, where do we figure that out? And your personal training or online training class, like where do we find all of these things about Fearless Fitness? Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, so Facebook is one way. Facebook, I have a the Fearless Fitness Facebook page.
Right, that's tagged in there too.
Yep. I have a website. It's my website's kind of like, it's there, but it's not really. I'm more on the Facebook side of things. Like everything goes to my Facebook if you want information on that. Okay. As well as my Instagram, I put everything on there. I have a website, but it's not quite up to date, just because more people are looking at Facebook and Instagram other than the website itself. So
Facebook at Fearless Fitness, Instagram is that Fearless Fitness as well?
Yeah, if you search Fearless Fitness AK, you'll find me under there. So you'll find me there on Instagram for all sorts of things.
And then the online class, or that online training that you talked about a little bit, where is that? Where do they find that? Is that on your website, or is that like a Facebook Live thing that you do, or how do they find that?
So for the online training, I actually just launched literally 7 days ago. Like we went live last Sunday, so it's still fresh and new. We have a private Facebook group for clients only. So there's only about 19 people in that group. It's just for clients. So if you signed up for the online training, or you signed up for personal one-on-one training or group training, whatever, you get added to that group, and you can use that. But we actually use an app for our online training called Fit Forward University. It's through a great company called Travel Trim.
Say that one more time. Fit Forward?
Fit Forward University, right? Is the name of the app. But it's not just something that you can go and get. You have to be affiliated with one of the owners, of who uses it. But if anybody ever wanted to do something like that, because it's still new, you just need to contact me. You can message me on Facebook. You can text me. All my information's on my Facebook page, and I'll get you set up. I prefer it that way anyway. I would prefer to have a conversation with somebody and learn their goals, what they want to do. Because even though it's online training, it doesn't matter if you live across the country or up in Fairbanks or whatever. You still get contact with me, be it whether FaceTime or a Zoom call or whatever it is. It's not just your typical, okay, I'm going to sign up for this app that I found in the App Store, and I'm never going to hear from this guy. You're going to get to have one-on-one calls with me or group calls with me. I'm still going to go over your goals. I'm still going to ask you, questions about, your past, health history. So it is still very personal, but it's a way, like I have a lot of clients that over the last 6 years have moved and live out of state now, and now it's an opportunity for me to reconnect with those people as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Because like you said, what halfway through the podcast was, you are going to build a community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you can't really, you could try, but you can't really build a community or a relationship with someone, just posting like random workout videos.
Yeah.
Those Zoom calls or stuff like that are super important in that process.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So, let me see. I don't think we had any crazy questions I didn't see pop up.
I don't know. We got a couple things in there.
Love to see live stream, Crystal. So if you'll just go through, because I don't know, I can't really scroll through right now, and answer those. Anybody that has questions, just respond to any inquiries there afterwards once we finish the video.
Absolutely.
Please do that.
For sure.
And then, like I said, I always end with question of the day. I've been averaging probably about 800 views between all the platforms. So if you had those 800 people in a room and you had 30 seconds to ask them any question you wanted, what would that question be? And it could be anything from what's your favorite color to something about fitness to whatever is currently on your mind.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay. I would want to know how do I phrase this? What is the single most important thing that's keeping you happy in your life, or the single most important thing that is going to make you happy in your life?
So what's either currently making you happy, or what do you think is that thing that's going to make you really happy in life?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully the goal is that they go on the Fearless Fitness Facebook page and they tell you.
Yeah.
Either comment on just put it on your page, or in a message they go through and let you know.
And here's I'll share my answer with you. The answer to my own question, because I was asked this by a mentor of mine, is what I found out for me is the only thing in my life that I need to be happy, the only thing that's ever going to make me happy, is I have to stay true to my core values as a human being and continue to take care of myself and other people. And as long as I can do that, no matter what challenges, difficulties, or pitfalls befall me, I think I can really be happy with my life. That's it.
Man. And just hearing your whole story over this past hour, you can absolutely see that thing. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm glad I put that vibe off.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to do episode 2.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I'm like, I got like 10 other things at least that I really want to talk about.
We just scratched the surface.
Oh,
You're
man.
like, wait.
Yeah, for sure, man. An hour's not enough.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again.
Definitely.
All right, man.
Definitely.
Let's do this.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I'm gonna shut this down.
Yeah, it's gone. Maybe.
Possibly.
Possibly.